Last week on A Dream Called Meraai, our quest to build a styling motorhome from scratch hit a few wobbles in the seating department.
I think we might have to do some modifications here, Bram.
On the upside, Smoke and John has done some great welding work to our new freshwater storage tank. This week things get very exciting as we start to take a close look at Meraai's heart, her almost 500 kilograms Mercedes OM 352 engine. Smoke and John completes the bracket that will hold our freshwater tank in place, and we start to lay out and construct our ablutions. All this and so much more in episode 54 of A Dream Called Meraai.
It is a new day, it is a new week, and yes, we have got new challenges, but the biggest challenge is going to be this engine, and this week we climb into it. We got a new kid on the block, literally working on the engine block. His name is Peter, and he's going to be stripping the engine down, and then Bram is going to be taking bits and pieces up to Gauteng, but more about that a little bit later. Before we get to the really exciting stuff, let's do a quick catch-up of my freshwater tank. Smoke and John has been hard at work making a new bracket to hold the stainless steel water tank. The tank will be mounted beneath the vehicle at the rear. Here you can see just how streamlined Smoke and John has made the tank. The old bracket was huge. This is a much better system. Behind me is our water tank in its bracket, and Smoke and John has made it so that it's at a slight angle. So when it's under the vehicle, if you're on level ground, it's still going to be at a slight angle, and the lowest point is going to be where our takeoff will be to feed water to the shower and to our wash basin. So good job, hey, good job.
Alrighty, moving right along.
So we're about to go into a very exciting phase of our build, and that is the motor. But in order to access this motor, which weighs 500 kilograms, first of all it needs to be safe and secure, and it needs to be off the ground. So Rocky is busy making a stand for it, and then we can get the beast onto it. Almost 1 year ago in November, Meraai had major surgery when Dr. Brahm and his team of surgeons removed her 500 kilogram heart. Since then, Meraai's power plant has lain in wait until today. The stand Rocky is constructing will need to be able to handle Meraai's heart when we get it beating again and fire it up to see how she runs. So just, how's this going to work, Rocky?
Basically, that's the back part of the engine, which will be bolted here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the whole thing's going to be quite high off the ground.
Yeah, the sump is 350, so it needs to be doubled up.
Rocky knows his stuff, and it does not take him long to get the engine mounted. This engine was introduced in 1964 when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and it was mounted in a 1964 Unimog. Variants of this engine were used in the South African military vehicles like Samels and Biffles in the 1980s. It is a straight 6 diesel engine with a capacity of 5,675 cc's. We are going to be giving her a bit more grunt by boosting her power substantially by adding a turbo. To do this, we need new pistons and a new 5-speed gearbox, which means we need to remove the pistons. Now is the time to hold one's breath. Is this heart going to look good on the inside, or will it be as damaged as much of the bodywork and the brake system was? Time to meet Peter. Just Peter.
Peter, what are you going to be doing here today?
Well, we're going to remove the head,
Okay.
to the head off, to get an exact sample of the pistons, see what size pistons inside. For the turbo, we're going to need upgrade pistons,
Right.
to bring the compression level down.
Okay.
So yeah, this is non-turbo motor, we're going to make it a turbo motor.
Okay.
I am a very nervous bunny as Peter goes about dismantling the motor. There are signs of real Heath Robinson repairs on the outside of the engine, which does nothing for my confidence.
So behind me, the guys are finally opening up Meraai's heart, like seriously open heart surgery. And I mean, a lot depends on this because we have no idea what's going on inside there, and if there's anything wrong inside there, it's going to be very expensive to sort out. So I'm very keen to see how things look.
My heart was in my mouth as Peter removed the cylinder head cover. All I could see was black stuff and spring thingies.
Peter, first impressions now that it's opened, what do you think? What do you see here?
Well, I must say the engine looks for me in a very good condition. There's no slugs. Normally it gets slugs on top of that, all slugs. But I must say, up to this stage looks good.
Sure, what a relief. One stage down, a few more to go to reach the all-important pistons.
This reminds me of when I just moved to Leisure Bay and I walked into a pub and my mate was sitting there looking very bleak, and I walked up to him and I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Piston broke."
Speaking of piston broke, let's take a quick look at how our toilet is coming along. We have outlined exactly where the toilet and shower compartment will go.
So here you can see there's a little line drawn there on the floor. That's where the wall is. The door is going to slide in like that to there. And there's the loo. Now the thing is turned, so I'm just trying to get it. That's how it is. It's like a side-on sitting. If we have it like so, it's a problem. But luckily, that's why I got this one. It turns sideways like that. And yeah, plenty of space.
Over the next day, Smoke and John has started with the framework for the ablution walls.
We still got to work out where the plumbing is going to go. But we've got our very expensive throne in here. The shower will fit in the one corner. And then this frame has been made. Smoke and John has been working very hard between power failures, which are a pain in the butt, stage 4 load shedding, power off twice a day, everything grinds to a halt. I mean, just trying to run a business is a joke. Anyway, so yeah, it's coming along nicely.
Now, I know I am a wisp of a man, so best I check that the throne room can accommodate my petite frame.
Here we're in the doorway. Here, and if you want to, obviously you won't hold that, this will be closed off, this will be the door, and yeah, the throne room.
So for now, we are all good in the throne room department.
Something else that Smoke and John has done is he has secured the fridge slider, which is going to have a drawer on top of it in place. And so yeah, this whole layout is starting to come together very nicely. I'm happy, man. I'm happy.
Our plan was always to use our Snowmaster fridge freezer. It is a little workhorse and its new home is amazing.
So here our fridge is now in place, and yeah, and it fits perfectly. It's we won't have this cover on. It's good because it'll be pretty safe and secure in here. It's on its slider. Smoke and John just has to do some fine adjustments. Something else that we can tick.
Speaking of ticks, it's time to get back to Meraai's ticker. Next to be opened up was the sump. What we would find inside the sump could also determine the state of the pistons. The last thing we want Peter to find are shavings of metal.
So there's no bits of steel in there, which is a good sign, huh?
Yeah, very good sign.
Good news is that Peter can't find any bits of shavings or metal inside there, and that's good.
Next in the firing line were the pistons. We will be replacing them anyway, but one hopes that the cylinders are not scratched or pitted.
There we got 6 cup holders. Lekker.
And the good news just kept on coming.
What are we looking at here?
Here's the bearing, big end bearing,
Okay.
and it's not worn at all. You can see there's no very big sand marks or anything like that.
Finally, the pistons were released from their solid steel cylinder. Here we found the first signs of engine abuse.
That means this engine was running before overheating. You can see all the marks here.
It just overheated, you say?
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be better if we get new pistons.
Which is exactly what Brahm will be doing when he heads to Gauteng later this week. Fortunately, the cylinders are all looking great.
So generally the engine is in very good nick, and it seems as though the only issue that did happen in the past there is whoever drove this thing drove it without water in the radiator at some stage, and that caused extreme overheating and that's what caused the marks on the pistons. But otherwise, everything is looking very lacquer, and that is a huge relief.
I'm looking forward to seeing the figures of how the turbo and the 5-speed gearbox will boost her performance. As soon as I have those figures, I will share them.
That's it for this week. Another full jam-packed episode. Yeah, the engine, very exciting. Hopefully next week Brom will be back from up north with those new pistons, with a turbo, and we may even be able to fire that baby up. Let's see. But otherwise, yeah, I'm thrilled with the way things are going. It's just this load shedding. Man, oh man, hey? How to bring a country to its knees. Just cut the power. It's pathetic. But anyway, keep safe.
Remember to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We are also on Twitter. You will find us under A Dream Called Meraai. Until next time, keep your dreams alive.